definitely was an agreement. And this agreement was paradoxically for some people between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. The main stakes of this agreement was that Russia gives up Syria and receives instead, in exchange, Ukraine. This is a part of a contemporary hybrid warfare. So this regime fall is absolutely controlled, and I was not surprised at all. So this is victory first and foremost of Donald Trump, because his goal is to finish and to end all wars in the Middle East by ousting the Assad regime. So the next step of Donald Trump will be to deal with Iran. In my opinion, there are four main fronts which actually can provoke a war, a regional war. One, Turkey against Israel. Second, Turkey against Russia. Third, Turkey against Bulgaria. And fourth, Turkey against US forces which are in the Middle East. As long as Erdogan is in power, you will be in danger, Bulgaria. Once a NATO member will attack another NATO member, Bulgaria, it will be an internal crisis within NATO. Nobody will come to defend Bulgaria. So you have a big problem. Definitely was an agreement. And this agreement was paradoxically for some people between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. The main stakes of this agreement was that Russia gives up Syria and receives instead, in exchange, Ukraine. This was the main stakes of this agreement. Definitely, this kind of regime, Bashar Assad's regime, could not fall in the way it fell. So it was a very, very fast, very striking military special operation. Without any doubt, it was a military special operation. This operation was executed by foreign military professionals and foreign military forces. In my opinion, I am absolutely positively sure that some of the military experts who took part in this special operation was military experts and consultants from British, United States and Israel. Moreover, Israel actually doesn't deny that it was fully involved in this, because actually Israeli air forces assisted these militants to take over Assad's regime. So it was a special military operation by the Western powers to oust regime of Bashar Assad. I think, in my opinion, I'm absolutely sure that it was a deal. The main point for the Western was that Russia would not intervene to save Bashar Assad as it did 7 years ago. And they came to an agreement that Russia gives up Syria and West gives up Ukraine. There is one more very, very important element in this fall of regime Bashar Assad. This was the last strategic stronghold of Russia in the Middle East and in the Mediterranean. Probably Russia will lose its military bases, naval military bases in Syria. And this will be, from one point of view, a major step down for Russia for decades. However, from the other point of view, because Russia is a member of a BRICS bloc, global bloc, now it's political economic bloc, it's not yet a military bloc, but I think in future we will see also BRICS becoming a military bloc. And BRICS already have a stronghold in Middle East, because Saudi Arabia, Arab Emirates, Egypt, Iran, they are members of BRICS. So basically Russia did not need these facilities in Syria, so it gave up on them. So in my opinion, yes, definitely it was an agreement. Let me try to explain this. What so-called opposition of Bashar Assad it is an element of hybrid warfare. It was absolutely controlled opposition, and this is a part of managed chaos. This is a theory about controlled or managed chaos, supervised chaos, and this is what we witnessed one of the elements in action. It was absolutely controlled opposition, and the same happened when they ousted the regime of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, the oust of during the Arab Spring, the Egyptian president Mubarak, and the oust of Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was ousted by the full power United States military. But what came after that, from the beginning of 2011, the Arab Spring, this was the managed opposition and was controlled chaos. This is a part of a contemporary hybrid warfare. So this regime fall is absolutely controlled, and I was not surprised at all. I would say that it doesn't matter who is Giuliani, because instead of Giuliani, it could be any other name. All this is absolutely controlled artificial leaders. They were trained specifically for this position. This was like al-Baghdadi, who was leader of the ISIS. So it doesn't matter who this person is or who he was, because it can be exchanged multiple times, because it doesn't matter his personality. What matters is that the regime was removed as a result of a really successful military operation. Now this regime in the future, Syria, will be absolutely pro-Western regime. And this is it. So there are many stories about Giuliani, but I think, in my opinion, it doesn't matter specifically his personality, because he was put there by the Western powers. First, we're already witnessing the future of Syria. The future of Syria is that there is no more Syria in this form, which we witnessed before for decades. One reason for this is some territories were already taken by other powers from Syria. Israel took the Golan Heights, and Turkey now taking the territories of Syria, in the north of Syria. So there will be no more Syria. There will be something else. Probably it will continue to be called Syria, but the territory will be different. The borders will be absolutely different, and the regime will be absolutely different. So at this point of time, Syria now is a failing state. There is an anarchy. I think in the near future, maybe weeks, maybe months, there will be some kind of government, but it will be an artificial government which was put there by the Western powers. This is definite victory for Israel, absolutely, because Israel already became bigger, because it took over Golan Heights. If this present government, which is a radically rightist government, will continue to rule Israel, I think definitely Israel will become bigger, because the plan is, and the agenda is, to include the Gaza Strip inside the Israeli territory, to annex the Western Bank with the Palestinians who reside there, also to make it Israeli territory. The southern Lebanon, which is now controlled by the Israeli military forces, probably also there is a big chance that it will become a territory of Israel. So Israel will definitely be bigger, and this is what this is the agenda of the right government, which is now in power. First and foremost, this is victory of Donald Trump for two reasons. One, Donald Trump is supporting Israel, and ousting the regime of Bashar Assad is actually a victory of Israel, but it's much bigger, in a much bigger scale. It's a victory of Donald Trump. Second, Donald Trump will give up on Ukraine, and the deal was that Russia gives up on Syria. This was the deal which was closed between Putin and Donald Trump, not between Putin and Biden. So this is victory first and foremost of Donald Trump, because his goal is to finish and to end all wars in the Middle East. By ousting the Assad regime, actually there is one enemy less for Israel. The next step of Donald Trump will be to deal with Iran. Iran is the last enemy of Israel. By dealing with Iran, actually the conflict in the whole Middle East between the Western power, which is Israel, and the Muslim other powers will come to an end, at least for decades. For Benjamin Netanyahu, it's a small local victory also, internal victory, internal political victory within Israel, because on global scale, it's a victory of Donald Trump, but on a local scale, it's a victory of Benjamin Netanyahu. However, Benjamin Netanyahu has much more problems inside Israel, which actually comes instead of this small victory, because now we have a crisis with his lawsuit against corruption, which now was renewed. The lawsuit is already going on for more than 10 years. Now they are renewing hearings in this commission, investigation against Benjamin Netanyahu. So if it was not for his criminal record, it would be much bigger victory for Netanyahu. Turkey has huge ambitions, and the main limitations which is standing in front of Erdogan and Turkey is Russia and the United States, because he cannot execute all his ambitions. One of his ambitions is to deal with Kurds, the Kurds ethnic minority. The second ambition is to take as much territory as he can from Syria. And these ambitions, in my opinion, Donald Trump and Mr. Vladimir Putin will not allow Turkey to do whatever it wishes. At this point, Turkey is in not as easy situation as it seems, because his ambitions are much bigger than he will be allowed to execute. Also, he might provoke a war next year in 2025 in case his relationship will be ruined in some point, not successful with Donald Trump or either with Vladimir Putin. In my opinion, there are four main fronts which actually can provoke a war, a regional war. One, Turkey against Israel. Second, Turkey against Russia. Third, Turkey against Bulgaria. And fourth, Turkey against US forces which are in the Middle East. One of the biggest ambitions of Turkey now today is to rebuild Ottoman Empire, because Erdogan thinks of himself as a sultan, as a future sultan of Turkish Empire. As long as Erdogan is in power, you will be in danger, Bulgaria. Once the regime changes and Erdogan will no longer be president of Turkey, things will calm down. But meanwhile, he is in power. And you have a problem. One of his ambitions is to rebuild the great Turan, the great Ottoman Empire. His ambitions are first towards the Central Asian former Soviet republics, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. There are 7. Also, his ambitions are towards the Caucasian region. His second ambition is to take territories from Bulgaria, because he thinks, in his point of view, the only opportunity to rebuild the big Ottoman Empire is to take these territories. Now, this cannot happen without a revolution. So he is now heading towards to become or to make Turkey a revolutionary state, just like Iran. The main ideology of Iran since 1978, the Iranian Islamic Revolution, is to export revolution outside the borders of Iran and to take over the whole Middle East. The same is going to happen next year, because these ambitions eventually will bring Turkey to a revolutionary state of affairs. He will try to take over Central Asia, Caucasus, and part of territory of Bulgaria. It will happen in two ways. One, because Turkey is a member of NATO, it can allow itself to continue with his ambitions to take over Bulgarian territory, because he knows that nobody will come to defend Bulgaria because they are also NATO members. The second development, with a high possibility, Turkey goes out of NATO and becomes an ally, which it already is, ally of BRICS. So it cannot be simultaneously an ally and a member of BRICS and to continue being a member of NATO. So once Turkey gets out of NATO, it will be the beginning of the end of NATO. So it also can attack Bulgaria still being a NATO member and without being a NATO member. Both cases are favorable for Turkey and not very positive development for Bulgaria. I will repeat, once a NATO member will attack another NATO member, Bulgaria, it will be an internal crisis within NATO. Nobody will come to defend Bulgaria. Or otherwise, once a non-NATO member will attack a NATO member, NATO also would not want to come to defend Bulgaria and to pay price of a major European war against Turkey and against all the BRICS members. Russia, China, India, Azerbaijan, which is already a member, and Turkey. I will repeat, as long as Erdogan stays in power, your situation between Turkey and Bulgaria, it will be on a crisis level. It could be a hard power or it could be a soft power. The tension will continue as long as Erdogan in power. This is an intriguing question. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert in internal Bulgarian politics. What I can say is definitely you have a Turkish lobby in your government. Absolutely. Also in the high political elite in Bulgaria, I'm absolutely positive that you have a Turkish lobby. You also have a Turkish community inside Bulgaria. In my opinion, one of the main issues for Bulgarian national security today, after the fall of regime of Bashar Assad, is Turkey. It's not Russia, it's Turkey. One of the first things, in my opinion, the Bulgarian politicians should do is immediately, we say in Israel, to do it not tomorrow, but yesterday. Get a meeting within the NATO headquarters and make sure that NATO will absolutely assure protection of Bulgaria in case of a war within Bulgaria and Turkey. This must be done today. You have to go and you have to put on a table an option of an open conflict between Turkey and Bulgaria. You have to demand from the leadership of the NATO to assure you that NATO will come to protection, because I think, in my opinion, Turkey is one leg already out of NATO. So in my opinion, next year, there is a high level of possibility that Turkey will go out of NATO, and the road towards Bulgaria will be open for Turkey. Because it's already became a member of BRICS, and BRICS is anti-bloc of NATO. So it cannot be simultaneously a member of a big Eastern bloc and also a member of a big military Western bloc. It will have to choose. And now, after the fall of Assad, this is the most crucial moment now today. First, to be prepared for a tension between Bulgaria and Turkey, and to get some guarantees from NATO leadership that they will guarantee security of Bulgaria in case of a development of a crisis between Bulgaria and Turkey. Absolutely, you can count on support of Russia, but only diplomatically, not military. Russia can be as an intermediate between Turkey and your state, absolutely, because Russia has some political and diplomatic leverage on Turkey. But from the other point of view, in case of conflict between Bulgaria and Turkey, Russia can help you only diplomatically, but not military, because I don't think Russia will go against Turkey for Bulgaria. And there is a big reason for that. Because Bulgaria controls Bosphorus and Dardanelles, this is the only waterways for the Russian Black Sea fleet, because Russia yesterday lost all its bases in Syria. So the only way it can get operatively and very fast into the Mediterranean through the Bosphorus Dardanelles. After the fall of Bashar Assad, Turkey became much more important for Russia than before. And in this case, unfortunately, Russia will not want to ruin its relations with Turkey, and definitely will not go to war with Turkey to protect such states as Serbia or Bulgaria. So now you Bulgarian state, became much more vulnerable after the fall of the regime of Bashar Assad than before. You cannot rely on nobody besides yourselves. This is what Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Golda once said. She said that the best ally of Israel is his army. So, in my opinion, first, please don't make mistake of Yugoslavia and Ukraine. Don't rely on the protection of NATO, and don't rely on protection of European Union. First and foremost, to rely on yourself, and then you can rely on the other international global institutions like NATO or European Union. Look, Europe now today is in a grave economic crisis, especially Germany. And NATO also is in a big internal crisis because of the conflict in Ukraine and because of the position of Turkey. I think, in my opinion, for the next decade, NATO will experience the biggest crisis in its history. Something even worse than in 1960, when France went out of NATO, then it came back. But the future crisis will be much bigger. Look, what I can tell you that in Russia, in Russian political and military elite, there is a lobby, there is a bloc of politicians and military generals, which their end goal is to take a revenge on the Cold War. And from their point of view, the revenge is to destroy NATO, because the Warsaw Pact was destroyed, but the NATO remain. In their point of view, as long as this generation is still in politics and still in military, they will look for a revenge, and they will absolutely, for sure, will look to destroy NATO. One of the elements or one of the methods to destroy NATO is to take Turkey out of NATO, and this will be a precedent for the future destruction and disassemblement of NATO. So, in my opinion, do not rely on NATO for the five paragraph of protection, because you have to rely on yourself first and foremost, and you have to, not tomorrow, yesterday, you have to begin a big reform of your military, of your Bulgarian national army, not NATO army, but national army, at least to protect your borders on the direction of Turkey. Because in light of the crisis inside Ukraine, and Ukraine will go, definitely go back under the control of the Russian interests, because NATO couldn't save Ukraine. NATO probably will not succeed to hold on Turkey as its member, and the crisis is looming in front of you. The main element of your future national security issue is Turkey. It's not Russia. And from this perspective, you cannot rely on nobody. You have to rebuild your army. You have to look for some other allies which are not NATO members, such as Serbia, and you have to avoid as much as you can political, economic, or military crises with other members of European Union, and concentrate on the looming crisis with Turkey. Syria was only an element of this big global chess game. There is one more state which is in even worse situation than you. It's Serbia, because Serbia is not a NATO member, is not an absolute EU member, and in my opinion, events like now happens in Georgia can eventually happen in Serbia, because the Western powers would like to take Serbia out of Russian influence, and probably they will try to destabilize Serbia. And so in this case, Bulgaria is between Serbia and Turkey. So you have to be prepared for multiple crises around you: Serbia, Turkey, and also internal political crisis, which you are witnessing now for over the 5 years. So you have to be prepared for multiple crises around your country. Yes, Northern Macedonia is an anti-system for Bulgaria. Is like they will try to make Northern Macedonia anti-Bulgaria. They might try to clash, to produce or to provoke a clash between Northern Macedonia and Bulgaria, and this is another point of friction which you have to expect. So you have Northern Macedonia, you have Serbia, you have Turkey, and you have ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and you have your internal crisis within Bulgaria. In my opinion, next year the crisis in Ukraine will come to an end. The West will give up on Ukraine, because this is what I began from. The deal was closed between US and Russia, and it will be one point of friction less for you. But the next points of friction will be, as I said, Turkey, Serbia, and Northern Macedonia. So you have to do everything you can to avoid conflict with Northern Macedonia or with Serbia, and concentrate on Turkish direction. I only can add that because I see that the Turkish question is very sensitive for you, for your country, and Turkey have much more ambitions, which I could tell. One of these ambitions is towards Israel. So we in Israel also we feel that Turkey will be our next challenge, and you in Bulgaria also see that Turkey will be your next challenge. And this is a point of cooperation between Bulgaria and Israel. So I suggest your political elite will try will begin to build bridges with Israel to cooperate in case a major war with involvement of Turkey erupts in Middle East.